Well, welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. Yes, DZ is back. Richard and BitBoy, they're gone, but DZ's here. We come to you Monday through Friday at 5:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk about your favorite topics with your favorite guests, and this is the first time we've ever had this set of panelists. We're going to go and start on the top right. We got return of the Zach Rector, and you know what? He's going to be wrecking all those shorts, trying to short that thing we love called cryptocurrency. Then on the bottom right, he's fresh with his Tom Ford cologne. I can smell it through the camera. It's crypto blood holding it down. Then on the bottom left, we were saying, what is his shadowy past? And we don't know. He came in as a silhouette, but you know what? He always leaves us more illuminated after the fact. It is MINEYOURBIZ. Then on the top left, she has some big announcements. Maybe if she wins, she'll do a little thing at the end of the show. We don't know, but congrats, Ragzy. And if you want to learn more, follow her socials and follow everyone's socials when it comes to that fact. But today, we're going to be talking about Blackrock and what does it mean for Bitcoin up and to the right, maybe. Also, Robinhood manipulating. That's right. The DOJ is coming after for some of the chicanery that was with the whole meme stock craze of about 7 months ago. And then Matic blowing up just past a huge milestone, tens of thousands of dApps being developed. But before we do all that, let's look at the crypto market, see where things are heading. And it's a little bit of a cool down period, but we are still in the green. We have Bitcoin up slightly above 1% here, but importantly, still holding this $24,000 level. And then we have Ethereum flirting with 19, was flashing above it briefly. Looks like 2,000 might be close. Now, Crypto Blood, I want to ask you about these levels. I mean, we're seeing 20% gain for Ethereum there. We have Bitcoin up 7.5% on the weekly there, 20% for Ethereum on the weekly. Is this the beginning of the end when it comes to the bear market? Is this looking good, or is this looking more like a dead cat to you?
I'm still not convinced. As you see on the screen there, we're back above that trend line, that red trend line. I was very concerned about us forming a, head and shoulders here. You see the circles there, but it looks like that has been canceled. So it's kind of indecisive. I'm neutral right now. My man Michael Saylor is still at McDonald's, so we'll see if he ever comes back to MicroStrategy. But yeah, man, DZ, I think I'm neutral at this point, slightly bullish, with targets up to potentially $26,000 Bitcoin at this point, man.
All right, look good. And, Michael Saylor, hey, the minimum wage, it keeps going up. Don't worry. You'll be able to buy more granite in Manhattan, a.k.a. Bitcoin, in the future. Stack them sats, baby.
That's right.
But let's talk a little about BlackRock. They just announced the launch of a spot Bitcoin private trust. This is going to give its U.S. institutional clients good direct exposure to Bitcoin. Of course, BlackRock, we talked about before, $10 trillion in assets under management. And this trust will track the performance of Bitcoin. And 10 trillion asset managers also exploring permissioned blockchains, stable coins, crypto assets, and tokenization. Zach, I'm going to bring it to you first here. You know, the Bitcoin, it seems like they want to expand their scope besides the obvious, which would be Ethereum. What do you think some of the main things on their target is? Is this private companies like a Coinbase, or is this maybe other crypto coins out there?
Well, you already know that I think they have some interest in XRP as well. I'm a big fan of XRP and what Ripple's doing, but I think that we need to embrace the institutions when it comes to cryptocurrency investing. I think that the generational wealth meme doesn't come from retail speculators moving the needle. Now, this is great that we can be building on these projects and acquiring Bitcoin and these other cryptocurrencies, but I think for us to really take the cryptocurrency space somewhere, we're going to need these institutional players, whether we like them or not. And it's not that we condone all of the activity of the BlackRock and the other elite institutions, but we do need their money to move the needle forward for the cryptocurrency space, in my opinion.
Okay. Now, Ragzy, I kind of want to, since we brought up XRP, I want to keep it on that. In November, there's a poll put out by Ernst & Young, and it says 74% of their institutional investors don't want to invest with poor companies with poor environmental requirements, social and governance performance, or better known as ESG. Do you think Ripple is setting itself up to be the benefactor from that with their low energy imprint? is that going to be a good thesis for their product moving forward?
I mean, I think so. I've always thought that, and obviously there's other cryptocurrencies and blockchains that are quote unquote green or eco-friendly, but I think Ripple's done a fantastic job at marketing themselves in that way. And I feel like, long term, I feel like institutional investors and everything's going to gravitate, I think, toward this more sustainable type of blockchain, this idea of carbon neutrality. Just because we see that's what happened, that's what's happening with companies that aren't on blockchain, right? We see a lot of investors more gravitating toward this idea of sustainability. So I think the more the blockchains position themselves in that way, especially Ripple, who already has marketed themselves in that way, is very, very good from a long-term perspective, because I think everything eventually is going to gravitate towards that. And I also think that's maybe why Disney decided to choose Polygon to back with their new program, because it's marketed that it is like more green and more eco-friendly.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that from these big corporations. Now, mind your biz. Speaking of big corporations, I want to ask you about BlackRock. I'm sure it's one of your favorite private companies out there, but I mostly want to ask, when it comes to the price of Bitcoin and BlackRock now publicly signaling their interest, we all know they've been privately interested for a while now, but now that it's public, is the fix in? And what does that mean? Did price go up or price go down?
Wow, when you ask me a binary question like that, it's hard to answer. But let me jump back a little bit and say thank you for having me back on the channel. It's great to be on Around the Blockchain with friends and with colleagues, and of course with the BitSquad, right? Audience, smash like if you haven't already. I mean, seriously, it's free. Why wouldn't you? But as far as BlackRock and their involvement, for my part, I'm going to take kind of more of the cypherpunk stance and view it as a net negative overall. And here's why. Before I talk about whether or not I think price go up or price go down, I think there's a little bit of an issue when we talk about Bitcoin itself, right? Capital B, the asset, not the network per se, but the asset being in the clutches of a centralizing force. Satoshi's white paper, which reads like 1 part tech white paper, 1 part political manifesto, and 1 part economic thesis, is decidedly against this. Satoshi warned us very explicitly not to trust people like this, and even codified that into the first block of the blockchain. So lowercase b, Bitcoin, the network, right? Chancellor on brink of second bailout. This is very, very bad for Bitcoin. This is not just a little bad. This is very bad for Bitcoin. And while I appreciate Zach's sentiment about us needing to bring in the financial resources of the rest of the world and try to include them in some way, I worry about groups like BlackRock taking such a relatively open stance now, like being very open about, like you're saying, prior to this point, possibly offering some manipulation, running interference, but now just openly taking the gloves off and saying, we will own everything and you will be happy. You know what the corollary is to that, right? So will price go up? Will price go down? I don't care. My Bitcoin will stay off BlackRock's, out of their hands.
Okay, good point there. And yeah, not your keys, not your crypto, not your coins. We say it all the time, and times like this, it really, really does matter, because when the powers that be want to flip a switch, they could definitely flip that switch. And that takes us into our next topic, which is Robinhood's manipulation. We all remember the meme stock craze, mostly centered around the winter. AMC, GME, basically the collective power of the internet, really wrecking some of these institutional investors who had shorts out on these companies. Some savvy investors did their due diligence, saw that they couldn't cover the shorts. The amount of shares being shorted just didn't really, the math didn't add up. And hey, if a few of us buy some of these stocks, they're not going to have the assets required to cover their shorts. And we saw what happened. Well, the end result was Robinhood freezing trades, freezing accounts, closing out accounts, closing out leveraged opens, leveraged longs. And obviously, the Department of Justice finally got around to doing something. It did take them a while, but it does seem like maybe some news is going to be on the way here. Is a U.S. judge, U.S. District Court Judge Cecilia Altanaga in Miami. So it's a Florida federal judge making all this happen. Now, Blood, when it comes to this judge, the ruling on market manipulation specifically, could this be the beginning of the end for Robinhood? Because their whole thing is they're a crypto app for the people. So how could they be for the people if they're manipulating us?
No, it's not the end. They're part of the good old boys club. They're not going anywhere. This is an interesting story. If you dive a little deeper into this, ladies and gentlemen, I want people to go out there and search DTCC. So that is the parent company of that one company. I can't remember what it was, the NSCC, who's actually behind this whole investigation or whatnot. That company, DTCC, is one of the biggest, actually is the biggest bank out there, and people have never heard of them. They own like 99% of all paper stocks, bonds, and securities. They basically help settle these transactions. So really, them going after Robinhood is a non-factor because we know, or at least I know, that DTCC doesn't settle any of these stocks that are out here. It's too many stocks trading, high frequency stocks trading every day. We don't know who owns the actual stocks out there. That's a whole nother conversation, but I think that's a deeper dive that people should go take a look at, the DTCC.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point with just basically there's a lot of trades happening on the millisecond time basis. A lot of computers just kind of running fractions of a penny, making a little money here, making a little money there. Well, yeah, Robinhood,
we don't know who owns what stock, to be honest with you. So it's an interesting take on that.
Well, when it comes to who owns Robinhood, we do have the CEO, founder, Vlad Tenev. I think I'm saying it. Here he is seen calmly smiling while the virgin's drained of her blood. Now, he is under fire. There's a lot of activists, investors, maybe not so happy with what's going on. But we looking at some of the numbers, and it kind of makes sense. Their market cap is down by 2/3 since they went public last summer. And not only that, they laid off nearly a quarter of their workforce just last week. Rector, we also have FTX. They have a 7%. Yes, Sam Bankman-Fried, he's in. He has 7% of the stake in the brokerage. Zach, what are the odds that the Robinhood name will even survive, say, the next bull run, say 2-3 years from now? Will Robinhood even exist, or is this going to get swallowed up by some of the bigger players?
I think that for companies like Robinhood, some lawsuits is part of their business plan. They've already budgeted and accounted for this. I don't think that they're going anywhere, just like Blood said. But these exchanges do need to be held accountable. And I do think that it's unfortunate what has taken place. I think I just saw CoinDesk reporting that Bitfinex is being criminal investigation into Bitfinex just is taking place. That was just announced before getting on this live stream. And so I think it's really unfortunate. I just continue to tell my audience that these exchanges are not your friend. Conduct the business transaction and then get your crypto the heck off of these platforms, because they are not your friend. You are their client, and they're going to make sure that they get covered, that they get paid out before, and with all these lawsuits, the class action lawsuit against Robinhood, how much money is actually going to end up in the hands of the people that were, hurt by this situation? So I'm not holding my breath. I don't expect much out of the SEC or our government as far as holding them accountable, but I get my crypto and then I get it off their platforms.
Yeah, good point.
Easy, real quick. This is the same stuff that Coinbase is doing, right? When the markets in crypto go, ape,
yeah,
they shut down. You can't get on there and trade and everything. So it's the same game, man.
If Bitcoin moves more than 10%, it's almost a coin toss on whether or not you can interact with your Coinbase account there. Now, Ragzy, there's also other bad news when we look at their numbers. In 21, they added 10 million accounts. This past quarter, they only added 100,000 accounts. Now, given all the FUD, it seems like retail maybe no longer trusts Robinhood. Do you think this lack of new customers, is it more retail not trusting Robinhood, or is it's just not exciting bull market time, so retail just isn't going to be there anyways?
Well, I am a proud GameStop shareholder, and and all that. So it was all, good fun during 2021. I think Robinhood had that many people sign up just because we were in a bull market, right? For crypto, they were offering a lot of different, they were offering meme tokens in particular, which was very alluring to the younger generation and social media. That whole thing took place, and as much as I didn't like to see that Robinhood took that initiative. I think we have to be realistic in that Robinhood is a brokerage firm, right? So there are different rules for them. You know, they have to make these clearinghouse deposits. They have to, they're required to have a certain amount of net capital and all these things that could have been the reason for them, to stop the selling of GameStop and all these other shares. But I think they really rallied with that many users because they pivoted on the back. I think they learned something from social media, from the GameStop thing going viral on social media. What happened, you had these meme tokens started going viral on social media like Doge. And I think Robinhood kind of pivoted off the marketing campaigns on the hype of some of those assets that they know are appealing to retail investors or new investors or the younger generation, right? So I think maybe that was part of their strategy for getting that many users during the bull run. But now it's probably gone down, one, because of reputation. That was really bad for their reputation, the whole GameStop thing. But also we are in a bear market. Things aren't as exciting now. Meme tokens aren't being talked about on social media as much now. Crypto isn't even being talked about as much on social media now. We're in the crypto market, so it doesn't seem as such, but just the overall general, like the interest has definitely gone down a bit. So I think that not only Robinhood, but other platforms might see a decline of new registered users during this time.
Okay, yeah, fair point. I would probably agree with that. It's just not exciting. You're not seeing the people talk about it. Dave Portnoy is saying buy this. All right, now Mind Your Biz. Speaking of Vlad, he recently stated they had about $6 billion in cash on the sidelines, and he's saying he wants to use it for acquisitions. Now that they're seeing a loss, now that their subscriber count is shrinking, do you think that those plans are going to be put on pause and maybe just extending runway? What do you think their just generally what their strategy is going to be with their funds, with their dry powder?
Well, I think you mentioned a couple things there, DZ, that probably clue us in. You mentioned the word strategy, which I really don't think factors into it at this point. The fact that they had to cut so deep on this particular cut after experiencing problems before and after the IPO usually signals that they did not have one. So strategy, that is. So yeah, where they go from this point, probably extending runway to figure out whatever that Hail Mary is. If it is an acquisition, if it is a purchase of some sort, if it is, whatever big announcement it is, or the announcement of the announcement, who knows? Maybe they'll buy one of us a Tesla Cybertruck. If we're, cross your fingers. Maybe we'll get the announcement of the giveaway of a Cybertruck soon. But I really don't think there's quite that much strategy. No. I do think that, like you were saying before, DZ, that we're seeing an extension of the runway. They're trying to decrease their burn rate, right, by bringing down their current employee base. The fact that they are just dealing with PR nightmare after PR nightmare, after finally delivering roadmapped items like being able to off ramp your cryptos. It's just not a good look overall. So for my part, whatever, they haven't retained me as a consultant. I don't have any insight into their books. I can't pretend to know for sure what's going on, but from the outside, it really does look an awful lot like the Robin Hood emperor has no clothes, or whatever. The tide's going out and, not wearing swim trunks. Whatever analogy you want to use, not strategy.
I'll tell you what they're going to do.
Go ahead.
They're going to snort that dry powder. That's about all that they're going to do with that dry powder.
Okay, and another example, you hold the mirror up and there's no reflection. There's nothing there. All right, he's not a vampire, folks. I see it in the chat. He's not a vampire, I don't think. Come on, that'd be ridiculous, right? All right, let's move on. Let's talk a little Polygon. They have just had an explosion in activity recently. They're up to about 37,000 dApps. Not only that, that's a 4x increase from last year, from the amount, just from the beginning of this year, so the end of last year here. Also, this is on the heels of their ZK rollup upgrades. Now, Polygon, of course, has two main features. It's the proof of stake chain, and I always forget the name of this, the Polygon proof of stake chain, and then the Polygon other chain where it's the L2
plasma chain.
The Matic plasma chain. Yeah, the Matic plasma chain. It just sounds like a medical device. It always throws me off. It sounds like a weapon. It sounds like a G.I. Joe weapon. Now, I'll bring it to you first, mine here. Do you see any risk of an outage with these upgrades with Ethereum? Is there any worry of Ethereum has to maybe zig and Polygon was expecting a zag, and that might create some sort of complications, even if it's a 8-hour downtime, 48-hour downtime? Is there any risk as Ethereum switches over?
Well, there's always that possibility there will be some technical problems for Polygon as Ethereum executes the beacon chain merge. Whenever exactly that happens, I mean, we don't know, but Polygon is quite robust. That's why they have that backup system. That's why they have the redundancy of the proof of stake chain and the plasma chain. Disclosure, I have done, I've provided marketing services for a company that has Polygon as a client, but I'm not being paid to say these remarks. They're just really that good. They're just really that well buttressed, right? They're backed up. They actually do have the proper infrastructure to maintain the activity that they have right now, the throughput that they have right now, while Ethereum does the beacon chain merge. That said, something that most people don't know about Polygon is that as a sidechain scaling solution, it does timestamping back to Ethereum. So on a regular basis, its entire chain state is recorded onto Ethereum. So the biggest risk would just be that Ethereum itself is not served by its scaling layer, that partnership that it has in Polygon, if Polygon can't record the chain state back over to Ethereum. So Polygon itself, no, it's running on rails. I think it's going to be pretty darn solid. And I think most of the Fortune 50 companies that are doing NFTs and dApps, I think they agree with me.
Okay, now, Blood, what do you think this means for a price perspective? Polygon, I would agree with MINEYOURBIZ. I've used it a lot. I've used it in multiple instances. Let's assume that they do have the right tech, the right development, and they're one of the smoother operating experiences for this ETH 2.0. What are we looking at here? I mean, if Bitcoin is not at all-time highs, if this is successful, could Polygon flirt with those previous all-time highs? Or is that still going to be beholden to what Bitcoin is doing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I still, unfortunately, think we are very much pegged to what Bitcoin's price is in the markets. I know we're seeing a depegging of that right now. The correlation is losing it between Ethereum and Bitcoin at the moment, but I think that's a lot of FOMO, buy the rumor, sell the news event. So I think we're going to see Ethereum start to come back down a little bit after this merge occurred. But I want to ask, my man Seth, what do you think is going to happen with ETH 2.0 and, them getting their side chain, or not side chain, but scaling solution up and running? Will that make Polygon and Matic and all those side chains obsolete? That's my question. So that until that is known, I do see Polygon going higher, but I have my questions regarding that.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a fair point of caution. Mine, go ahead.
Just really tactical here, guys. I don't want to take a whole lot of talking time because we got two other great guests. Ethereum is not actually going to scale its throughput at the beacon chain merge. It's going to move to proof of stake, and a later roadmapped item is going to help it scale. But that actually gives so much runway to projects like Polygon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see.
Just to say, it's interesting. First off, that as EVMs go, Ethereum will actually be one of the last EVMs to go proof of stake. And it will also be one of the last EVMs to scale on proof of stake. Figure that one out.
Yeah. All right. And those that watching at home, Ethereum virtual machine. All right. Well, Ragzy, I'm going to bring it to you because you actually have Polygon NFTs that you have released. You also release just regular Ethereum NFTs. And a lot of people, now that I'm in Cardano space, I hear, I don't want to say nonstop complaints, but often pointed to source of contention is the gas fees on Ethereum. What are people saying on the corporate level? Is Polygon looking, you mentioned Disney, is this going to be the new feature, not so much for the consumer's price, but that whole ESG narrative? Is this a bullish case for Polygon? Because as of now, NFT community, to be fair, they kind of look at it as a budget option. Will that change in the future?
Well, here's the thing, like with me personally, I always follow my cheat strategy for almost everything I do is I follow what are the big guys doing, right? Walt Disney is one of the most powerful companies in the entire world. And their accelerator program only chose one blockchain company, and that was Polygon Matic. I don't know why, right? I don't really need to know why, but I know that it was that one. And I can see, I see the pros and cons of Matic. I see the pros and cons of Ethereum, of, all these different cryptos and blockchains, but there is a reason why that one was selected. and it's for other reasons. People were already using, Polygon as a bridge for Ethereum and NFTs and whatnot. Now, that being said, like, for somebody who's minted some NFTs on Polygon, there were still issues with it. There were times where it wasn't as speedy and as smooth as Ethereum, but the gas fees is definitely a deterrent for mass adoption. It's definitely like a deterrent, and for people who want to purchase artwork and things like that, they don't like paying the gas fees. Now, the people who are like the big time NFT investors, right? They're spending a couple million dollars on NFTs. They don't really care about the gas fees, right? That's why the other side and the Bored Apes with their new land still did very, very well when it launched, because those kinds of investors could care less about the gas fees, though it would be nice to save on them. They're still going to get the asset that they want. But as far as like mass adoption and reaching more people, the gas fees will definitely be a deterrent, I feel, for most like smaller investors, new collectors, and new people coming into the market.
All right, come on, OPEC, hurry up, lower those prices. All right, final question. I'm gonna bring it to you, Zach. Here, I think Crypto Blood kind of raised a good point. We don't know when this will happen. This upcoming merge is just kind of moving from proof of work. It's not upping the throughput, but eventually, let's assume it does scale out and Ethereum does solve its transactions per second problem, given, Cardano lovers are going to be rejoicing and laughing at me right now, but assume this does happen. What will happen to these layer 2 solutions, to the Polygons, to the IMXs, to even the BSCs here? Are they going to fall by the wayside?
Yeah, I'm worried that it's going to be too late for some of these blockchains, because as we talked about starting off this show, the Blackrocks, the institutions are ready with trillions of dollars, but they have $1 trillion problems to solve that they're not just going to, hey, let's try out this blockchain. They need to know that the program is going to work for them to actually move in and allocate that type of money and build on top of. And so, I think that we're down to the final minute here for a lot of these blockchains. They need to get this thing updated and done. And with ETH 2.0, didn't Vitalik Buterin just say that they're still only going to be about 50% done once ETH 2.0 rolls out? So they need to get caught up to speed here, and they need to get ready, because how do you sit down at the table across from these institutions, across from people that matter? To piggyback off of Ragzy, we got people that are really serious players, but if you can't present something to them that makes sense and works and can scale, you're not going to get the adoption. Ragzy, she actually just won Ripple's NFT Creator Fund. And so what XRP has done is they started with scalability. They started with throughput, and now they are upgrading for NFTs. So whether it's XRP, whether it's some other blockchain, all of these competitors are coming in to take market cap from Ethereum. And so they better get their game up. They better get their program working out, because there's plenty of money coming into this space, but the time is up.
Hey, it's like Little John said, step your game up. I love how you worked in Ripple Labs. Great job there. Hit that like button, Ripple Army, if you appreciate it as well. But I think that is all we got time for. And it looks like, Seth, you were the winner. There's all that ETH knowledge. And you knew Plasma. I was thinking Pulse. Why Richard Hart was here. I know it's not Matic Pulse. I know it's not Matic Pulse. Thank you for letting me know. Plasma. It's Plasma. I'm just wondering, when's Pulse X?
In your head, man.
When's it happening? When's it going live? All right. Mind your biz. Feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts. I asked him, Hexicans. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, if anybody does know the exact date, man, you're gonna do great. But thanks for having me back on. Always a pleasure to hang out with the homies right here at Around the Blockchain, and of course with the BitSquad. Make new friends as well. I appreciate being part of such a diverse panel of thinkers, genuine thinkers, people who are critical and can help you learn something new every single day. So I know the audience is the right place. If you haven't gone to myb.ll, I'm wearing the wrong hat today. That's how you can subscribe to my channel. It means a lot if you do. Every click over there counts, but BitSquad clicks might count for plus 10. So thank you in advance for that. And thank you in advance for subscribing to my great co-stars, or my great, the great people you see on screen.
He said it best. Hit that like button and go follow. Why? It doesn't cost you anything. So go do it. Do it right now. Do it now. All right, later, BitSquad. Now. Frankie Candles. Frankie Candles. Go watch Frankie.